Now we'd like to bring in historical journalist Hadley Hall Meares to discuss Queen Elizabeth's legacy. Hadley, Queen Elizabeth, as we've reported, wasn't supposed to be queen. Her uncle abdicated the throne, which was a major break with tradition. Then at age 25, she takes the throne. How does coming in during that shaky period of tradition, how does that color her reign as it begins for 70 years?
Well, thank you so much for having me. And, the Queen was never, as you said, meant to be queen, right? And so it was this enormous shock to her family, who was kind of a retiring, close-knit, quiet family when Edward VIII abdicated for Wallis Simpson. And, she really, really was scarred by that. We know that her mother, the Queen Mother, really felt that him becoming king when he never thought he would actually contributed to his early death. So the Queen made it very clear from her first real speech when she was 21 years old, saying, "I will be your queen my entire life, whether it be long or short." So she really, really believed deeply in the honor and duty of being the sovereign of the United Kingdom.
As Charlie Daggett was just talking about, there's the monarch and then there's the institution of the monarchy. And can you give us a sense of the monarchy as she was introduced to it 70 years ago? Because those lessons nourished her throughout her reign. And now we're in this period where the question is, do those lessons, do those traditions still rule when it's a different person ruling? But how did she learn to be a monarch?
Her father, George, had not been raised to be king. He had a very bad stutter, as we all know. He was very shy and retiring, and he felt that he had really, really been done a disservice by not being taught to be king. So he really, really trained Elizabeth from the time she was 9, and it was seen that she was the heir presumptive. And, they say that during his coronation, he made her write a review of the coronation so that she would start to think about what monarchy was. He expanded her education greatly to include foreign affairs, geography, foreign languages, all of these things that queens needed to rule.
And we're going to talk about the whole scope of the monarchy over the course of this hour. But I want to ask you about what nourishment it provided for her subjects. The monarchy, it's always talked about the stability she provided. What does that mean in human, basic, daily terms to you?
I think that the world has changed so much since you became queen 70 years ago. And she was always this solid figure. Keep calm, carry on, never complain, never explain. She really, really was this sense of calm and peace in a world fast changing. She was not going to be taking Instagram selfies. She was not going to be telling you how she felt in a world where everyone says how they feel all the time, which is actually probably a good thing. But she was somebody that you could look to and say, I'm taking a breath. Everything's going to be okay. I mean, this woman survived World War II. She saw the end of the Cold War. She saw so much history happen and remained as ever she was. And that's a real comfort. And I don't know if we're going to see that again in this world.
So, Hadley, if she stands for the good in the traditions of the United Kingdom, and as you mentioned, World War II, and that reticence and reserve and durability, what then is her connection to the legacy of oppression and colonization and imperialism that people also associate with the monarchy?
It's a very complicated legacy. And, in her first big speech when she was 21 for her birthday, she said that I will rule over all people. I will be there for all people, no matter what race, what creed, what religion. But, she was unfortunately a figurehead, right? And her duty was to nurture and promote the Commonwealth. So I think that going forward, you saw this summer, there was the disastrous tour that Kate and William took of the Caribbean that was seen as really archaic, really very not in today's mode. And so the royal family has a lot of work to do in terms of kind of repairing those generational wrongs. And I actually, ironically, think King Charles III is the perfect person to do that. He is very, very attuned to cultural sensitivities. He's traveled the world. He has enormous respect for other cultures. And I think that he will be actually totally understanding that I think many places probably will leave the Commonwealth, particularly Australia and Jamaica. And I think he knows the time has come and that he needs to lead a future-thinking monarchy instead of a colonial, imperial-based monarchy.
Fascinating challenge ahead for him. Hadley Hall Meares, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.